right there when you need her. Thank you so much for your patience, you guys. Benny, our superstar behind the scenes, he had to reboot us. Thank you for the reboot, Benny.
I practically felt like I had to build a whole new computer.
Oh my gosh. Really? Yeah. Well, thank you.
No, not really.
Okay. But to everybody, hi, it's the live radio show today. It's the Gratitude Cafe. We have Nadine and Benny, my superstar, our superstar behind the scene, making sure everything happens for us today. We are taking calls. Thank you, Benny. For the YouTube world, of course, go to YouTube and just type in 1150 a.m. We're taking calls today. Have patience. Benny's got lots of things he's doing. He will get to the call as soon as you can, or we can. He can. And we've also got Nadine's got some questions from other callers and people from all over her tribe, all over the world as well. So if you'd like to call and get in the queue, please do 1-888-298-5569. Again, 1-888-298-5569. Locally 425, pardon me, excuse me, 425-373-5527. Now, with saying that, when you're in the queue and on hold, there's a reason that you are hearing what you're hearing. All these messages, actually, whether you're in the queue or you're listening on YouTube, watching us on YouTube or on radio and the podcast after we go live, there's a reason that you are hearing this message. And likewise for myself and Nadine as well, we totally, we learn just as much as teaching and facilitating, right, Miss Nadine? Hi, love.
Hi.
I'm so trying not to scream. I'm Benny. I'm trying so hard.
I know. Okay, Benny. You just got to do this to me, Benny.
Right. Usa.
Yeah.
Usa.
I know. I get excited, and then I want to
scream. I know.
Yeah, right.
Me too. We both do. I'm like, and Benny's like, no.
You could hold up a sign that says "scream" on it, so that you're not
but it's not the same because I'm just bubbling full of energy.
That'd be kind of funny.
I know, I'm horrible. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to be quiet.
I don't think I do either.
All right,
Benny. I don't know how.
For the record, I'm not telling you not to. It's just an audio thing, and since we're all remote, it kind of, it's not a studio thing,
So it's kind of like when your speaker's too loud in the car and you get the like
Pretty
that.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to keep our bass low.
What's going on here? We'll keep our bass low. Girl, there's a song I want to do all about your bass.
Go ahead, Sue. Go ahead. Megan Trainor. Yep, Megan Trainor.
Treble.
I'm shaking at the same time.
All about that bass. All that bass.
The
All that bass. All that bass. Yeah. I think that's the one you're looking for.
Benny can do it so much better than me. All right, you guys, we have got a call-in show today. If you don't want to call in, that's fine. We have people that have reached out to us and we will do pulling cards and readings. And it's always so humbling, so loving, so fun, so interesting when Nadine and I do this, because there's always this kind of theme that pops up. Spirit, divine, Gus, whatever you want to call it, purple chopsticks, whatever's gonna, and purple hair, Miss Nadine. I love that.
I feel like a unicorn.
You are a unicorn. Not in the lifestyle. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that.
One of a kind.
Yeah, one of a kind. Magical and one of a kind, baby. Perfect. All right. So if you want to call 1-888-298-5569 or 425-373-5527. Again, welcome. Miss Nadine. Hi, lovely.
Hi. I can't believe it's been a month already. That went by so fast.
So fast. How's the animals? How's the kid?
The zoo is crazy as ever, of course.
Oh.
But we finally got rain up here, so I'm very happy.
Yes,
I think very dry, so I'm very happy with the rain up here. So this morning is very humid, as you can probably tell. I'm sweating.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. And I love the purple hair. And if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, you got to go on YouTube. And if you're going to listen to the recording, go on YouTube. You can do that too. But of course, we're live on the radio here. So we are taking calls. What's been going on for you? Has there been anything that's been popping for you, like a theme of questions that's been going on for you?
Actually, for me, a theme of questions that's been coming up for me from some of my, past clients and students and stuff is the theme of, why do I get the messages I get? if there's nothing I can do about it?
Oh, Spirit, bring your human in front of me. If there's a message, bring that human in front of me. Oh, please educate. Talk to me about that.
So that's a big one. And it's kind of a question that sometimes I don't really know how to answer, because it's one of those pet peeves I have with spirit as well, where I will get information. And then of course, sometimes you don't know, it's something further up out in the future, and you don't know until it comes true that was actually, legit information coming through. And sometimes it doesn't even tie to you. Sometimes it has to do with family members or friends or whatever. And you can't really figure it out till it happens. And then I always say to spirit, what's the point? Why would you give me that if there's nothing I can do with it?
Yes.
And for me, myself, I mean, after all these years, it still drives me crazy.
So do you really, well, wait a minute, talk to me about that, because do you really think, I mean, if spirit's giving you that message, and this is just me honestly being curious for me and you, I mean, there is a message for all of us in that message, right?
Yes. And I think what it comes down to for me, like how I've taken it, as it's just a proof of spirit. So I think they do every once in a while to remind us that they're there and that they're real and to trust, right? So they're based, I always take it a sign of, yep, Nadine, you're still a psychic medium. Yeah.
Hey, we need that though.
Yeah, right?
Not from a lower vibration, but it's that validation. You and I have talked about that. Okay, why is spirit telling me you have a message for me?
A message for you?
I don't know why they're saying, ask her what the message is.
Is there an anniversary or something? An anniversary of something?
Yes, an anniversary of me taking that leap of faith to move to Bend.
Okay. That's all I heard really loud was anniversary.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you, Spirit. Come play with me, please.
Yes. Your dad is here. Your dad is here handing you a bouquet of roses. Oh. So here's red roses for you. I love you. So proud of you. Handing the roses. Oh my God, he's so funny. I know this is hard to say, but because we know each other, he's like, I got a jar of pickles for you. Yeah, we know where that came from. I know it's silly to say because I know that about you and your dad and the pickles, but that's what he's showing me. He's like, thinks it's funny and congratulations. And he thinks you're wonderful at this. He thinks he says you have a face and a voice meant for television. That's what he says. He likes to see you. I said, I know, I believe you. I believe him. He says something about, so was your dad fairly young when he crossed over? Because I feel like I'm too young to have gone.
Yes.
Okay. And this was like something sudden and unexpected. Like he wasn't.
Well, no, he was sick for a while. He had Parkinson's and Lewy diffuse body disease, but when he fell, then it was sudden.
Okay. So it's a sudden thing. Yeah. Even if they have a long term, you just don't expect them to go that way or that day. Right? Yeah. So, cause he always says to me, I always hear her saying, I wish I would have had more years. I wish I would have had more time, of course. Right. But he's like, it's something that kind of replays in your mind.
Right.
Is that you wish you would have had more, because I feel like you guys got even closer the last few years than you ever were, right? Like really, really close.
Yeah.
And he just loves that. He loves that bond that you guys had towards the end. And he says you bring him such comfort. Is a big thing, that you brought him so much comfort. But he's with you all the time, of course. He's like, she can't even look at a jar of pickles without thinking about me.
No. And I was just took a cathartic drive to the Oregon coast, which I love it there. And there were trips that he would ride in the car with me, and there was specific music that we would play. And it was playing while I was down there. I'm like, hi, Daddy.
And it'll be the most random song on the radio that has, right? It's just like they're playing all pop music, and then all of a sudden something old will come in, and you're like, how is that possible?
Right. And right there, everybody who's listening, that's a really good message for all of us. It's trusting in those messages and trusting in that moment instead of controlling or, our typical 3D that says, no, that wasn't it. No. Yeah.
He's showing me, Spirit showing me there's a lot of like butterflies, dragonflies, a lot of bugs coming to you right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Lots of symbolism through insects, which is a
Yeah. I had a baby scorpion on my back patio. Yeah. I mean, it was translucent. It was crazy. I'm like, all right, of course I had to go look up the meaning. And then I have geckos, lizards, little geckos.
yeah, so little things coming at you. You bring up a really important part or point, Sue, is that running to see what the meaning is. So lots of times we can get symbols for a butterfly comes in and we're like, oh, hi mom or hi dad. But it's also nice to go and what does that mean? What does seeing a butterfly mean at this time? What is the spiritual meaning? So that's really important. That's one thing I do naturally and I forget about in my teachings or, when we're talking about this, is that I do check that a lot, especially if it's something that I don't see quite often. Like, for example, I'm such an Italian. Can you tell I'm Italian? I'm always talking about, sorry, Benny, I hope that's okay.
Talking with the hands. Yeah.
So for example, let's say something like a deer. So if I see a deer and I take notice of it, I'm like, oh, that's a pretty deer. And then later on that day, I see another deer and then another deer. Okay, wake up, Nadine. There's a message there.
Yes.
Look for repeating signs and symbols, repeating, because it's saying, pay attention. And we might miss it the first or the second or the third. Sometimes it takes us 3 times to be aware. And then I always go straight to what does it mean? What is the symbolism?
What is that message telling me? And I love, of course you would bring up the deer because I saw 3 deer the other day, 2 deer. And then the third deer had a baby. And then there was another set, a mom had twins. So I'm
did you look up the meaning too?
So here's the meaning. So when I took my leap of faith, of course I looked up the meaning. When I took my leap of faith and I was asking Spirit about this whole, lifting my life and moving to Bend, it was the grasshopper and a deer. The deer had literally popped, not just out of the bushes on my run, literally out of the bushes across the road, tweaked its ear and then towards me and then bounced off. I'm like, okay. So the deer is about, I can look it back up again, but it's from my memory of a year ago and then looking it up. It's about family and your home is where your heart is basically, and to follow your intuition. And then when I have the grasshopper, it's all about taking that leap of faith. Do it. Take that leap of faith, follow your intuition. These are the signs. That's why I have Picasso grasshopper on my right ankle as a tattoo, because it reminds me, of all of that. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I say deer. It's so funny how things happen.
I know. Of course you would say deer. Yes. And then I saw deers. Yeah, there's been bugs. And I ask if there's a message. And you brought this up the last time we were talking. A symbolism for me, where I'm on the right path, it could be a hawk too. But you and I know we could see 10 hawks and not hear the message. And then all of a sudden that one day or that 1 hour, whatever it is, that message pops through. So don't disregard that. That's where I was going with that, right?
Yeah. Not to, I mean, the thing is that you will, like we always say about this, Spirit is repetitive and they're loud and they won't drop things until we get it.
Yes.
Like, wake up, wake up, wake up. But I'm so ADD. I'm going to jump around here. But
you and me both.
As I think of it, I have to spit it out. So speaking of Spirit, this is the craziest story. So my sister and I, you know how we're all psychic mediums, yada. So my sister and I were talking about my husband who passed away and also my dad who's passed away. And we were talking about how strong they are in spirit and how thankful we are that we see the signs and blah, blah, blah. So we're chit-chatting, and there I said, well, Rick's my husband. I'm like, he's so strong. He sends he's the most powerful messages and yada, yada. And then all of a sudden I look over and I mean, I've been sorting my room and getting, decluttering and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I look over and one of the boxes that I had packed was a dime square in the middle. I have moved that box 3 times already.
And then boom, right there. Thank you.
Why would I have a dime in my bedroom? There's no money up here. There's no wallet, no purse, no nothing. And it was like dead center, like, and I'm talking like right in the middle of the conversation about those guys, and I just boom. And it still surprises me, like, right? It's this day.
I
it's
love
like,
it.
You just can't believe it. Like every time, you just can't believe it.
Right. Okay, so the deer represents inner peace, tranquility, gentleness, intuition, graceful action, and self-awareness. They have a strong spiritual connection. So again, if we go back to my year ago when the deer literally popped out, there was another meaning, a baby deer or fawn in dreams. Well, that's dreams. I wanted to do something in spiritual meaning because it was so profound for me. Same with the grasshopper too, right?
Yeah, and you just knew. And for everybody who's listening and watching, deer, if you've seen deer and you've noticed deer, pay attention, because this message is also for you.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some grasshopper people. There's going to be some people listening.
Take the leap of faith, people.
Yeah.
Take the leap of faith.
Yes.
Speaking of which, okay, so at the top of the hour, Nadine and I were talking about they're always used. There's this like underlining theme that pops up as we do live calls or readings or even just education. We just start talking and spirit comes through. And I had pulled a card, and I'm going to read that because I'll read part of it because I think it's pretty paramount right now. And there is a strong pull for me to keep asking about the messages from spirit, whether it's to you or to me. And I literally am getting buzzed here. And the back of my tongue is like getting all weird. So there's something going on. I don't know what it is. So let me read this to you. Dearest one, the common sayings, be in the world, but not of it, and wear the world loosely, refers to the need to be engaged with life while not being attached to the specific outcome. This is really important, audience, and to ourselves. Do not take this world personally, for you are one of many co-creators here to play. And we have many ideas about how all this should play out. Of course, we can control it and all that, but that's not what it's about. Surrender yourself to that. Just know the outcomes don't matter as much. And here's the important part, as the presence you bring to each experience and how you let yourself flow through life. I think that's really important, really important. Of course, take accountability and responsibility for your 3D actions and behaviors. However, this card and the message and what's been coming up for me big time, don't take things personally. Raising 3 daughters, that's a huge petri dish of that. You're all sisters, you know that.
Oh, yeah.
But engaging with life while not being attached to a specific outcome. And I know when I'm coaching and I get calls all the time. Well, what do you mean? Don't be attached. I really want that. And I'm like, I know. I have a lot of wants too, but guess what? It's not for my highest good. I don't want to get spun out, trapped, or strapped into the resentments, the controlling, all that below the line stuff. That's what we're talking about. So if you just surrender, be in the present.
I used to be so controlling of the outcome.
Yes, we've had those conversations.
Always in control. And I mean, I'll catch myself doing it every once in a while. And then I'm like, I stop myself now because I'm like, you know what, Nadine? If it's meant to be, it'll come easily. Like, I just let it go. I have to. That's what I always say, you have to, because it's too it's too much. It's too cerebral. And we know how things happen. If they're going to happen, they happen. Like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yes, if it's meant to be, and for your highest good too, whatever that looks like in that moment. And your highest could be a lesson learned and earned, meaning that you take the connotation however you want to take it. Meaning, if you're going to take the lesson from fear or lack, then that's what it's going to feel like. If you have the CCs in life and get curious and compassionate about you, just get curious about whatever's coming up, and then takes the sting out of what could be potentially,
Well, for me, what I think,
and boundaries too.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of worrying. I'm tired of anticipating. I'm tired of expectations. It's just the flow. It's funny. After my husband passed away. One of the symbols he sent me in a dream was, so in the dream I was with him and it was really clear, and him and I were in a river, swimming in the river, and the current was going, really fast, and it was speeding up and it was going really fast, and I was starting to get scared, and I said to, like, I was panicking, and he said, just ride it out, just go with the flow. And he's like, it's going to be fast, it's going to be slow, it's going to be hot, it's going to be cold. And he's like, there's nothing you can do with it about it. You just got to go with it. And it was about taking the fear out of the changes in the flow.
Yeah.
So we're going to always, we ebb and flow. It's how it goes. But it's to take the fear out of the changes and just go with it. Because what are you going to do? As soon as we resist, life sucks. It's harder. You can't. Yeah. It's going to happen anyways. That's my whole motto now. Well, it's going to happen
anyways. How are you going to show up with it, right? So it's you bringing, what are you bringing to each experience? Yeah. Each conversation. How are you showing up?
Yeah. And it's like, same thing. Like you always say, love and trust. Gotta trust it. Even if it sucks, I'm like, I guess I gotta trust it because I know it's gonna be
fair. So it's gotta be real, right?
Gonna work out in the end. That's all I keep thinking. I'm like, it's gonna work out in the end. Even if
it will. It's gotta work out. It's gotta work out. All right. With that, you guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. Sue Lundquist here with Gratitude Cafe. You can find out more information at SueLundquist.com/newsletter, and you can get recordings of the shows. You can see us live here on YouTube, live on terrestrial radio on 11:50 a.m. And then, of course, podcast world after we are live. And we are joined here with the beautiful Nadine. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to take some calls, pull some cards, and do our dance with the spirit world. Woohoo! All right. Be right back.
Okay. All clear. Live on YouTube still.
Am I screaming? Benny, I have a question for you if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to do everything, but I can't help but I just keep hearing mother, 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 mother repeatedly with you. Okay. And I'm not sure if your mom has crossed over, or is there something going on with your mom right now?
No, she's still around. Her and her her boyfriend, they've been wanting to move, but since the COVID thing, they've kind of like taken a postponement on it. That's other than
I wonder if this is a grandmother or mother-in-law. I just keep hearing mother, mother, mother. So, but that's all I hear. And I'm not sure what it's about. It feels like worry. So I wonder if your mom's worried or somebody's, let me think.
Well, she's, most moms are worried for their kids.
No, this is something.
Look at this. I just had a call or a listener text and show us on
Oh, nice.
YouTube. Hi, Modin.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Well, if I get anything else, I'll let you know. But
okay.
It's so weird. I keep hearing it with you, unless it's something that's coming up, like somebody's going to be phoning in about a mother. But something, it could be something, but
all right.
Like that. But there's something mother, mother, mother. I keep hearing mother over and over.
And you sure it's Benny? You sure it's Benny?
Oh, it's going to Benny. I don't know if it's Benny or it's going to be. Like I asked Benny, that's what I was just saying. Like I just
Benny. Okay.
So maybe be a new segment for the show. Ask Benny.
Ask Benny. Ask Benny. Benny for your thoughts.
Hey.
Hey.
Well done.
Maybe it's your grandma. Like maybe it's your mom's mom. Is she passed over?
Yes.
So it could be something like that. Maybe it's a message for your mom.
Okay.
From her mom, something like that. Something to do with necklace. There's a necklace, pearls. I see pearls with your mom, which usually means that symbolically it would mean that your mom has something of her mom's, like jewelry, like some kind of a heirloom that was passed down to her. And there's also a connection with the ocean, the sea, that something about water. Does your mom live by water, or is she going to move to water?
Okay, I'll give it some thought. No, I mean, we're close to Lake Washington, but
no, this is water. There's something to do with like, it looks like an ocean or a beach. Because she's showing me like beachy things. Was your grandmother by an ocean or water?
Let me give it some thought and I'll bring you guys back on too.
Okay. Anyway, right. Tell your mom to watch this after.
Okay, totally, I will. Here we go.
Working out Photoshop. We know that's. Oh, Benny, I love it. Thank you. See, I don't do that very well. You would be able to do that so much better than me.
You don't have to drop down your voice to say the bass part. It's just sing it.
I feel like I should, because I'll start screaming and then I'll get in trouble. And then the things we're going to do this and that. And welcome back, everybody.
We get excited when we see each other. So
we do. And the energy starts going and I'm like, it's really good for radio world. I know. Welcome back, everybody. Pacific Northwesters. International. We got Canada in the house. We have New Zealand. We have Australia. We have Mexico City. Hi, everybody. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And then for those of you that are tuning in after we are live to the podcast world, please give us a 5-star rating, or give us a 5-star rating now. I mean, why not? Right? Let's do it. Bring it. 5, baby, 5. You could do that. iTunes, SoundCloud, and all the other, what's the other music place that we're at? I forget what it's called now. That's
Podcast One.
Spotify, yes, that. All of those. Please, we'd love to hear from you. We are taking calls. I know that we have got some readings that Nadine had acquired. So if you want to call in, you're welcome to do that. 1-888-298-5569 or 425-373-5527. I will, and I'd like to, and at the top of the hour, I pulled that one card, and it's all about surrendering and not having attachment to the outcome. So I think that's a really big vein of today's show, and helping people transition through that and understanding what that means. Well, I want that. Well, there's lots of things Nadine and I totally want. However, it's not up to us. Well, what's for our genuinely and authentically, what's for our highest good? So you've got to turn all that over. Yes, you can intend. Yes, you can create your own outcome. You really can, if it's meant to be, right?
Yeah.
If you control it and resent it and carry on all that defensiveness and the bags, there's a whole mess of stuff that's going to come with it. And I don't want that. I don't want that for any of you.
No.
It's
human nature to want to control things a lot. Well, for some people, it's human nature, right? So it's one of those things that I've had to unlearn.
Oh,
it's not
very
just,
much.
It's not just about learning, it's about unlearning, which I have found I have to unlearn a lot of things.
Yes. Unlearning from what we had thought was okay from our past, right?
Or programmed into us.
Yeah, and programmed into us. Okay, do you have somebody that you want me to pull a card, or what would you like to do, love?
I have a question, which is, what are some good tools to use when giving readings?
Ooh, go babe. Well, we were just talking about it at the top of the hour too.
So when I first started doing readings, when I wasn't as confident, I hadn't had formal training yet, but, I knew this is what, I knew I was a psychic. I didn't quite know I was a medium yet, but I wasn't quite confident, right? So I started using things like cards at first, like lots of card readings. I still use cards just because I love them. But when I was first doing readings, it was all about the cards. So I was always using cards. I used pendulums, a lot of pendulums. I've even done tea readings. I've read runes. It's just anything that you're really attracted to. What are you attracted to? And that will become one of your tools. I always say it's okay to have lots of tools in your toolbox. And especially when you're first starting out, because it gives you the confidence. So instead of feeling like you always have to be directly connected cerebrally, right? Like directly connected to spirit like this, it gives you a focus, and it also gives your client a focus, right? So then it feels like I'm just reading what's there instead of it coming directly from me. Like
right.
It's kind of taking it out of me and into an object. And also when you have objects like cards and tea leaves or runes, it's also it's allowing the energy to come from those objects. So it's actually easier on your body as a reader, because not all the energy is coming from you into the reading. It's actually coming from those objects, from those tools. So it's really good when you're first starting out to use those things to bring the extra energy from spirit into the reading.
I love that. Totally made sense. And I love that. Now, and again, I'm going back to the fact that, I've got 4 or 5 different decks
Yes.
And I asked Spirit, I said, where do you want me to pull from today? Sometimes it's 3 different, sometimes it's 1. All of the, I've just got to trust what that is. And even I'll knock the deck, I'll, clear it, shuffle and be like, oh, that was quick, and that's my 3D doubt coming in thinking, oh, I got to control the outcome. I got,
But the thing is, at least with the tools, it's outside of yourself. So if you don't trust yourself, you can trust your cards.
Until you build that. Yeah.
The cards don't lie, right? That was always my way of, even when I doubted the cards I'm pulling, I'm like, well, the cards don't lie. It was always my feeling. So it took it out of my head.
Yes.
So I put the trust into something else. That's what I'm trying to say. I put the trust into something else, which is the tool. So that's something I highly recommend for people. And you can use it to start out. You can use it for the rest of your life. I know lots of psychic mediums who still use their cards every appointment, who still do, they always use those tools because of people like them. Me, myself, I don't use cards. And that's just because I usually am just doing strictly mediumship.
Yep.
So I don't really need them in mediumship, but.
Well, let's have that conversation, because I hear people saying, well, wait a minute, she said psychic. And then I heard her say mediumship. Evidential mediumship, by the way, you guys.
Evidential mediumship.
And so there is a difference. So we can have a conversation with a client and we start off, we can have a psychic reading and the energy and all that. And then boom, all of a sudden there's a different essence, there's a different frequency, and you're getting messages from spirit, male, female, animals. It doesn't matter. Things are coming in a different format. It's a different essence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say how I got into mediumship, like giving readings, is I used to do like crystal energy healing and like shamanism. So I used to do and Reiki and all that kind of stuff. I was really interested in all that.
But it's all facilitating energy, right? It's all perfect.
Yeah, you're channeling energy all the time. So what would happen is as I'm channeling energy, all of a sudden their spirits are popping in, and I'm like trying to give a Reiki session or a crystal. And how do you approach that? I know you're here for a massage. No, I know you're here for your knee.
Totally, me too. Yes, absolutely.
I fixed your knee and your grandpa's here.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I know you were in here for facilitating some energy healing. However, spirits coming through, I don't know that you knew that about me doing this. Would you be comfortable? And that's really important, because you have to ask permission, because some people, that's really, really important. Ask permission.
Go throwing it out there.
Oh, no. Don't.
A lot of people, it's not welcomed.
Yeah. And that's okay. Again, release the outcome, stay present in the moment, and just show up in love and above the line, just like it says right here.
And ask permission above.
And ask permission with boundaries.
But it is something that happens. So a lot of people, will start with things like Reiki, crystals, cards, pendulums. Like, it's a good way to build your toolkit, to build your confidence.
Yes.
Right. And you have all these different ways that you can help others along their journey. And lots of times as you're developing those gifts, you're also going to be developing your psychic abilities and your mediumship, because you're connecting with spirit. Every time you do those things, you're connecting to a higher source energy, whatever you call it, whatever. It's all the same light and love feeling, right? That goes into all these modalities. So yes, they can cross over. And of course, spirit will take that opportunity, always take an opportunity to say, hey, you're a psychic. Hey, you're a medium. Hey, I got a message for so-and-so that's laying on your table right now with the sore knee. However, we also have to have boundary with spirit, like we do people. And sometimes it's not the right time and it's not the right place for spirit to be taking advantage of that moment. Right? Like when I'm in the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give this person a reading whose grandfather's standing next to them. I'm not going to do it.
Then they're like, tink, tink, tink.
Yeah.
Tink. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're going to follow them out to the car and freak them out even more. No, don't do that.
But, in the beginning, when we're channeling, or, spirits popping in all the time, a lot of people want to give those readings, right? They're like, oh, spirit's here, da, 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 because it's exciting, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, so I'm like, leave me alone, right? I'm not working right now. 9 to 5. No, call my assistant. No.
Yeah.
But for people who are first doing it, it's pretty exciting. And sometimes you want to jump in and give that reading, but make sure you always ask permission. It's a very professional way to do it. When you're doing this work, I always think, okay, I need to be a good example for this profession.
Yes.
You always have to think that, right? You always have to think, what's the professional way to be a part of this profession and not be woo-woo.
Well, how are you going to show up as that professional? How are you going to show up in integrity if that's important to you? I know integrity and trust is the utmost for yourself and me and yourself is what I was trying to say. And again, going in and talking about being in the present moment. What are you bringing to each experience with your client, with the barista, with the garbage man, with your brothers, with your sisters, all of that?
Exactly. And another thing I was going to say for the same question, like, what kind of tools are good and stuff. What I did when I wanted to delve into mediumship, like once I knew, okay, these spirits are around me and they're coming in during these sessions, I read everything I could get my hands on. I read Teresa Caputo. I read James Van Praagh. I read Sylvia Brown. I just delved right into all of these trusted mediums who are really good at their jobs, really good at their profession. And I read everything I could get my hands on. Near-death experiences. Read about near-death experiences. There's so much knowledge in here, and that's going to build your confidence.
Love it. Yes, for sure. I have to tell you, and also, if something isn't going to work, like the deck of cards, like you were talking about the pendulum, I was holding a pendulum in my hand. I was in my house. It had talked to me at the store. I bought it. Yes. It literally flew out of my hands in the office. So I'm like, all right, it's not our time to dance, but for whatever reason, you were supposed to come home with me. So pay attention to that. That's okay. And guess what? A pendulum, when I was learning about energy facilitation and healings of rooms and all of this, we actually practiced a pendulum on a long keychain. It was measuring tape. It was a little tiny measuring tape. And you could, because we in our 3D world think it's got to be a crystal or it's got to be this. I can take a deck of regular playing cards.
Oh, yeah.
And say, what is my message for me today? This is what I'm going through. What do I most need to hear? And I'll do it. And boom, sure enough, that deck of card, I go and look it up, or you see a deer, or you have a measuring tape that's a pendulum and it's going circles, or it's going back and forth. It's listening and trusting and being present in that moment.
I'm just laughing because I talked to my sister this morning, and she messaged me last night, but I was already asleep, about needing a pendulum. Did you have your pendulum? I need you to ask your pendulum, because we'll do that with each other. Yeah. So that we're not the ones doing it. We want a clear answer. So I was laughing this morning because she used her dog's leash.
Yes. Yes.
She was at the lake and she didn't have anything. So she was laughing because she's like, well, I used my dog's leash, because basically you can make a pendulum out of anything as long as it has that heavier kind of bottom and it'll spin in a direction. Yeah, you can. I use my necklaces a lot. Like I used to wear like a pendulum necklace a lot, but yeah.
What's with the safety at the lake with your sister? Be safe. Be safe. I'm hearing be safe. Stay away from something about the water.
Probably, my first thought is she has a new little puppy, and her name is her puppy's name is Poppy, and maybe she was worried about her at the lake and being around the water. And
well, I'm hearing you need to be really mindful. I'm hearing for your sister to be really careful around the water right now. And even prior to that, I should have said something, because we know how this all works. I'm like, nope, it's about the sister. It's about the sister. That's what it was. Yeah. So be super careful, please.
Yeah, probably because they were at the lake and boating and fishing and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
That was it. Whatever it was, to be safe around the water.
Yeah, exactly. There's something. I can't help but keep going to Benny and his mom.
Yeah.
It's going to make sense later. There's something now they're baking cookies. There's something about chocolate chip cookies and baking cookies. I have a feeling it's his grandma.
Okay.
His grandma's trying to talk to his mom. So Benny's mom, if you're listening, is here loud and clear.
Oh.
Because as soon as I start talking about her, it starts to lift because I'm feeling like really heavy energy, like a lot of times when spirit, because I'm a physical medium, right?
Yeah.
Start to feel like heavy or pressure on my chest. I'm having trouble breathing. And it's because spirit's around me really strong. But then as soon as I start talking about Benny's mom and grandma, it lifts.
Yeah.
That's how I know that even though Benny doesn't know right now, it's going to make sense.
It'll make sense. We'll make sure mom gets the message. Yeah.
Shows me a present. So she showed me a present. So it's like birthday. There's something with a birthday. There's cookies. She's baking cookies. She's doing what grandmas do, I guess, or moms do. But there's something about also it's like she keeps taking me back to a beach. So I'm not sure if Benny's mom has a vacation planned or her mom. There's something with water and a beach. Anyways, just saying. Benny's mom, hi.
Hi.
Watch this. Your mom loves you. Your mom loves you, and she says, "Don't be worried. Any decisions that you make right now are the right decisions." So whatever your instinct is, and I know you're questioning a lot of things right now, but your instinct is right. Your first instinct is right.
Girl, you're talking to me right now. You're not talking to me. You are literally talking to me from spirit right now. You have not that you don't have any idea, but I'm listening going, I'm supposed to hear this message today.
That happens.
It totally happens.
That totally happens. What's with the water, Sue? Are you going to go live by the beach? Or you go?
I was just at the beach yesterday. I was just at the ocean, at the beach. That's where Dad was coming through, and I was asking questions. And then I came home, and I've been asking questions, and I'm like,
is there questions about love?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see like love on the horizon, or
hey, if quality, authentic, genuine love would be great.
Yes.
Lots of passion and yumminess mixed in there too.
I'm in love with myself.
I am too. I love me very much. I love me. I'd like to have somebody to play and go out and yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to have a partner in crime. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Partner in crime for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
But I feel like, there's lots of big changes for you on the horizon coming up, but really, really, really good changes. But there's something like there's a move or you're either moving or traveling or something. There's lots of movement in your life and movement forward. You're like, it's definitely a movement forward. It's exciting. It's a risk, but a good risk. Everything's going to work out. Yes. But it's a trajectory. That's what I'm trying to find. It's a momentum that's going to build and build and build, and things will happen quickly for you. So you're just building the momentum right now. And then there's something really exciting. But there's travel again, there's traveling, and it's warm, it's sunny, it's beaches, it's water. Yeah. Like it's makes sense. Sunshine.
Totally makes sense. I'm like, yes, and yes. And yes, honey, I needed to hear that because there's been lots of spinning and lots of questions and because we have self-esteem, we have doubts, we have all that stuff that comes.
We're still a human. We're still here.
I know. Yeah.
We're connected to spirit. We're still like human. Like we're still, we still have, I'm just getting text messages here lots.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Are they asking questions?
Yeah. Another one is, okay. What's the best way to get started in developing your gifts?
Trust. I think in the present moment. We were just talking about that, right?
Basically just kind of answered that. One was tools. So I guess a way to get started would be to get the tools, like grab a whatever you're attracted to, I say.
There's a reason for it, right? But again, going back to the trust in the
If
present.
you're attracted to crystals, buy some crystals. If you're attracted to pendulums, whatever you're kind of attracted to, and play around with different tools. Sometimes you use a tool just for yourself. Sometimes you use a tool for when you're giving readings, right? Like if I were to give a professional reading, what, did that just come up or that's your picture?
No, that just came up. That was from a listener.
What?
On his back deck.
That's so cool. Oh, what's the theme of today's Sue? Deer. Deer is the theme of today's show. Everybody.
There it is. And
Deer,
being in the present moment. Yes.
If you're listening to this, it's
Here's
about
the moment.
deer. Oh, before I forget, I'm so ADD. I'm sorry. I just am. If I don't say it, I'll forget it.
Okay.
So of course, when you're starting out, just dive in, read the books, grab the tools, practice. But one thing I was going to say before I forget, which is probably on somebody's mind that's listening right now. But last night in my dream, I was giving readings to people and I was talking about animals. And when I'm giving readings and an animal comes through who's crossed over, why they speak English.
Oh, but they speak Spanish too. If you're from Spain or Mexico,
They'll speak Spanish. It's because your animals, of course, are on the other side and they can communicate however they want to now. It's all about telepathically. It's all about energy. I can understand what they're saying, but it's funny whenever I'm giving them reading and they're like, but how did you know what my dog is saying? Like, how can it speak English? I'm like, well, because it's on the other side and it can communicate with me however it wants. They can communicate like that with you in the present world too, while they're alive. They also communicate to you in whatever language you speak. It's all energy, right?
Oh, it is.
That was in my dream last night.
So somebody needed to hear that, right?
Yeah, to teach people that animals do communicate with us from the other side and here on. So when you hear your animal talk to you, I know this sounds so woo-woo and crazy.
It's not. Levi told me his name. I was driving up to I'm like, okay, it's Levi. Yeah.
All my animals that I have, my zoo, I've asked them their name.
Yeah.
They tell me their name. I wait and I always say, oh, they'll tell you their name. Like they will. And it's funny, my cat Rosie, for example, you know how he got in a bad accident this past year. And so of course it was touch and go, but we were communicating with him the whole time. My family was communicating, is he going to make it? And like, what do you feel? And it's so funny because before his accident, the cat never talked, like hardly a word out of him, not a meow, not English, not nothing. And now since he got hurt and he's recovered, he will not shut up.
You opened that can of worms, Mama.
Well, my sister nursed him back to health, and he's actually at the farm staying at my sister's because he prefers the farm. He's an outdoor cat. He still loves being outside, even though he got hurt. But anyways, my sister Michelle one day phones me and says, "Does Rosie talk?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "I know this is going to sound crazy, but he's telling me that he likes cheese and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, because when he was first off of his, when he got his feeding tube out or whatever, he kept asking her for cheese. And I was laughing because cheese is his favorite. And I never told her that. She didn't know that. I never said it.
I love it.
And he was telling her he wanted cheese.
All validating. All right, guys, we got to wrap this up. Sue Lundquist here. And I know I went so fast, Miss Nadine. I know. First Tuesday of every month, you are going to play with us in the spirit realm. I mean, I do this every Tuesday. However, this is our gift to you and giving healing messages and education for you. It's a new thoughts, new ideas, new perspective. It's a new you. Recreate. You have the hope. You have all the tools. Stay in the present moment. Wear life loosely. And until next week, each of you are a gift. Get out there and share yourself with the world.